Yeah. So when did teaching start to emerge for you?
I had my first student when I was in ninth grade, actually. So I started going back and teaching at the middle school, and then I just kept teaching, other high school students that were younger than me, middle school students.
Mm.
And then when I was in the Marine Corps, I was teaching at my friend's high school, and I was the youngest guy in the section. But when we have schools come visit, I would be the one to do the master class, because I was actively, practicing and taking lessons. So I guess I got started, teaching really young, and then I really enjoyed teaching, as part of my teaching assistantship, during my master's degree. So I didn't really plan to go into it, but just following my teacher's footsteps and seeing how he worked, and dealt with things, just kind of made a logical thing to do eventually.
So so you started teaching young, and you had a mentor, and you basically followed the footsteps of the mentor. And so when did you get your first college teaching job?
So I graduated from Rutgers in 2012, and that same year, I was the visiting assistant professor of trombone at Jackson State University in Jackson, Mississippi. Yeah, so that was my first teaching job.
Now I've seen some pictures of you holding a baton. So in your various academic positions and jobs, what have been some of the things that you've been engaged in, like the sort of diversity of skill sets that you've acquired?
Oh, wow. Well, so I studied conducting. Well, I started studying conducting when I was in high school. As part of being the drum major, but I was also the student conductor. That was part of when you go to all state or all county for the band assessment. There was a section where you could have a student conductor conduct. So I was studying conducting, and I ended up being as the teaching assistant at Eastman for the trombone choir. I got to conduct the trombone choir quite a bit when my teacher was away, and also picked up another TA as the assistant for the brass guild, which was the brass choir. So I would conduct those groups, and filling in for my teacher again. I conducted the Brighton Symphony, which is a small community orchestra near Eastman. So when I got to Jackson State, I was hired to be the associate conductor for the Mississippi Symphony Youth Orchestra. So in addition to teaching trombone, I was doing that, and I was also coaching the jazz combo, teaching another brass choir class, and I started a little trombone choir there, and ended up teaching graduate music history for the music ed students during the summer. So did a lot of different things there. The next job was the University of Mary in Bismarck, North Dakota. I was the director of jazz studies there. So I had the big band and improv and all the brass lessons. That was my first time, running, a big band. I'd been in a bunch, but hadn't really been up in front of many, other than like a little mini clinic or something like that. So that was
where do you prefer to be? Do you prefer to be in the band or standing in front of the band?
That's a good question. It depends. If the band is good, I want to be sitting inside of it.
Right.
If they're not, I don't want to be sitting there and the person up front doesn't know what to do to fix it. So if they're not good, I want to be, up front helping them.
I see.
That's a good question.
And that was a very diplomatic way to answer that question.